Welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Ben Slinger. With me, as always, is Trevor Scott.
Hello.
And we have guests joining us this week from Screwtape Studios in Brisbane. We have Meg and Anthony. Welcome.
Hey.
Thank you for joining us. So tell us a little bit about Screwtape and what you guys are doing.
All right, so yeah, Screwtape we're a small indie dev. We've been around for 7 years now, I think. Did a few mobile games, and then in the last couple of years, we've decided to bite the bullet and make our first console game, and it's called Damsel.
Yeah, we played it at PAX, actually. It's
nice.
It's looking really, really good. I haven't played the early access yet, but I'm looking forward to the full release.
It's come a long way since PAX.
Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the progress that's been made on that.
Yeah, cool.
Hopefully we'll get a chance to catch up again at PAX this year.
Definitely.
The great migration to Melbourne.
Will be.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's great. We don't usually do too much on we usually just jump straight into the game. So I think we will just go straight into what we call click pitch. Trevor, do you want to give the little spiel?
Yeah, so all of us, all four of us are going to have a random word generator. We'll have Screwtape having one random word generator, and each of us having one random word generator as well. On the count of 3, 2, 1, click, we're going to click refresh, get our random word, stick them together, come up with a game design of something that doesn't exist, and have a laugh.
Nice.
Sometimes it does.
That's about it.
Sometimes we make games that already existed. So yeah, we'll have 3 words between the four of us. All right, let's do it. 3, 2, 1, click. Trevor, do you want to?
I'll start off.
Yeah.
Megabyte.
Okay, I got limb.
And we've got buying.
Buying.
Yeah. So it's going to be an EA game, probably.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We went like a buying sim, but like with the limbs.
Yeah.
You'd have to be a zombie buying.
Well, I feel like
survive.
I feel like the EA path works because they'd actually make you buy all of your limbs before you can sort of
start out just as a torso.
Yeah, exactly. It's like $5.99 for your left arm.
I was kind of almost thinking the black market as well. Like, so the idea of buying and selling things on the black market, megabytes, it gives a feeling of like the dark web.
Yeah, well, you got a Johnny Mnemonic sort of cyberpunk.
A little bit Tron. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of a game where, your main, obviously your abilities are defined by your limbs, but you're able to buy and sell them as you go, from different vendors around the place and get different abilities for different areas.
They're cool, like, not just, you start off with a shotgun attached to the limb and then it turns out to a chainsaw.
Yeah,
Things like
exactly.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Switch it out for a chainsaw. You could have different effects if it was attached to your legs or your arms. So if it's a shotgun on your leg, then you can get like a jump boost as well versus just having it as a weapon. I'm not sure what the chainsaw on your leg would do. Maybe you can dig.
I think see something where you actually just shoot the limb off.
Oh, well, yeah.
Just like slapping people in the face with your hand.
Rocket limbs,
So I'm picturing that arms may be a little bit more expensive than, say, legs. So maybe you've gone for that really, really expensive chainsaw hand, but then you realise that you got 2 legs underneath and then you got another leg on the side. So you could only, that's all you could afford.
You could only afford another leg, so you just attach it to your... Well, that's interesting, actually.
So you can't afford another arm. Yeah.
Well, I was more thinking that you're not buying a leg versus an arm. You're just sort of putting attachments onto each spot. But I like that idea that some of them are so expensive that you could sacrifice sort of versatility for more powerful attachments. So you if you've got the best thing, you could literally just have an arm, no legs, no left arm. You've just got a right arm, but it's so good that you can't give it up. And so, maybe you have to fire in one direction to blast yourself across the level and then turn around to shoot the enemies and, use it to jump. I don't know.
That could be really fun, actually.
Yeah. There's some good balances there, I think, between, cost benefit of your different limbs.
I mean, we're making the assumption that we're humanoid here. I mean, you've got whole other creatures with many, many, many different like, what if it was an octopus?
Well, maybe you can just... Because you could start off as just a generally nondescript torso with 4 limb sockets, but later on you can get more attached. Get more sockets put in.
So we merge like Spore in there with a bit of you can evolve yourself to have extra arms.
Exactly, yeah. And you can put them... You just put them wherever.
Limbs on your limbs.
Limbs on limbs on limbs. That's it. Well, you know how games, often you'll get a weapon and it's got a socket for a gem or something. Sometimes you just get limbs that have sockets for other limbs.
I'm picturing sort of like in if you remember Munchkin, where you had a 2-handed sword, but it was a sword that had like 2 extra hands that you could actually hold on to extra things.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I don't know. I'm kind of picturing this as a bit of a 2D sort of side scroller sort of thing with that very segmented kind of animation style. Do you know what I mean? Like, so all the limbs will kind of rotate. They've all got their rotation point, and so you could just have a whole, 5 limbs all attached to each other in a big long snake-like thing. And now and then if you put your chainsaw at the end of that, you've really got a lot of reach on it.
Now my question is the head a limb?
Oh, very philosophical, Trevor.
Although you can't grasp anything, but you can. You've got your mouth. You can hold a shotgun with your mouth, I'm sure.
Well, now I'm just getting really freaky sort of images of you attaching, again, the socketed limbs, 1, 2, 3, and then the head on the end.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what the benefit would be. You'd be able to see really far.
But I'm also just thinking, you want that extra hand, so you put a hand literally in the head socket.
In the head socket.
And
do you lose the benefits that you get from having a head?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, does the screen just go black? Like, is that where your visual cortex is, or?
See, that's the thing. If you're like an Android sort of thing, maybe, the CPU can be in the torso itself, and therefore there's a camera in the torso, and the head's just to make it look a little bit more human.
This is sounding like that weird thing at the end of Inside with all the arms and the legs.
Yes. It's just a very mechanical version of that, just rolling along. All right, I reckon let's click again.
Yep, 3, 2,
1.
one.
Nice.
Oh, another body one. Stomach.
Jesus Christ. It's not Jesus Christ.
No, you got a good one.
Contribution.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Crime.
Well, I mean, that just leads me to a very hungry criminal who just wants to make contributions to their stomach. It's just most criminals, probably.
Once again, I'm going to selling of limbs, selling of stomachs.
So where my mind is going is that you're a burglar that can't help himself other than helping himself to the contents of their fridge, making sandwiches and such.
Okay.
like a food invasion, sort of.
So do you play a burglar where part of it, like it's stealth gameplay, but you have to avoid food because you just get drawn to it, and you might be behind an alarm system, but you just can't stop yourself.
I kind of like the idea
sandwich.
that you're going in to these like delis and that sort of stuff, and you're trying to make food, and so if you do a home invasion, then you're raiding their fridge trying to find the best sort of food that you can make without making too much noise.
Is that literally why you're like what you are burgling? I thought it was sort of a side effect. Oh, okay. So you're literally going in thinking, oh, this place is going to have some good cheese.
Yeah, and so it's the only thing you're doing. You're basically trying to get through, but the stealth bit comes from you don't want to wake up the owners and have them catch you making a sandwich or.
Well, that's interesting because what's the noisiest food to make? Like, I know that if I'm pouring myself a bowl of cornflakes in the middle of the night, then I'm, pretty careful about how they hit the bowl. But there's probably noisier stuff even than that.
I was thinking with contribution, it could be an employee. So someone so that adds a whole different bit to the crime and stealth element there. You're working for the place first.
So that's how you case the joint.
Yeah. So you're adding a contribution to their lives and then stealing from them later.
Well, that's good because you could stash the good food stuff in places where you know where it is. And maybe you have to
truffle oil and I'm just
I don't know
thinking
what
of
good food
really
is.
expensive cheeses and
chicken fingers, right? And that's something that everyone
steak,
high priced chicken fingers. That's a thing, isn't it?
I read an article today about a Philly cheesesteak in America that costs $120 for this one meal, and it's a $75 steak that's then got truffle oil and all this sort of stuff on it, and it's got this cow, sheep, and goat's cheese on it, and it's it's the most amazing.
I bet it's disgusting.
It kind of feels like it's ruining the point.
I know. Philly cheesesteaks.
I know it's got to be
meant to be just cheap and gross and delicious.
Yeah.
Gross and delicious at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Can we take this further, or are we done?
Well, I mean, you could let's take it in a completely different direction.
Yeah. Go.
There's this stomach, right, and it's a like a deity, like an all-powerful stomach.
Oh, okay.
And it is commanded that contributions must be made, but they can only be stolen.
Okay. So you're still stealing food. I like that. We're keeping that bit.
Well,
but
does a stomach only concern itself with food? I mean, it doesn't have a mouth.
That's true. And particularly a stomach god. Who knows?
I have heard that, all powerful deities do like gold and other things.
Yeah, well, it's an intergalactic stomach deity, and it demands contribution. It demands contribution from the planets that I'm staring at my little Rick here from Rick and Morty. So stomach come down and be like, "Show me what you got.
Show me what you. Yeah. Feed me what you got."
Yeah.
Well, the game could be figuring out what it likes as well. So you go around and steal things and put it in the stomach, and it just throws them back up. It's no.
Maybe only certain combinations of chemicals, work with the stomach. So you have to sort of figure that out. It's like a, one of those. What do they call them? Rube Goldberg chaining things together. You got essential amino acids that you've got to put in the right spots, to please the stomach.
An educational game now?
Well, not necessarily an educational game. Something systems driven.
I would have learned chemistry better with this, I think.
Right?
Totally.
To appease the god this time, you need, 3 oxygen atoms and...
Yes.
Would it be a 3D or 2D game? Is it a 3D full stomach deity? Do
you get to explore it at some point?
Well, there you go.
Super high res internal.
Final third act is inside the stomach.
Mm-hmm.
The only way to take it out is by taking it in.
Realistic stomach acid physics and totally.
Well, they did that. What was it? Was it Halo 3? Towards the end of the game, you jump into the stomach of one of the giant flood. And so you spend about half an hour inside. I think it's doable. We have the technology. We have the shiny shaders from the Unreal Engine. We can do this.
Awesome. All right, let's click again and get a new set of words. Celebration.
Substitute.
Taking.
Okay. Substitute makes me think of substitute teacher.
Yeah.
Whereas substitute actually makes me think of, with my word of taking, that scene from the start of Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay. So you're at a party and there's like the one precious bottle of champagne that they're saving, and you need to replace it with the cheap bottle of champagne because you really want to drink that expensive one. So you've just got to like weigh it up, Indiana Jones style. I don't know, I was just trying to bring celebration into it.
Yeah.
I kind of like where you're going with that. How about sort of spy party-esque? It's a someone's got to try and catch who's trying to steal the
Well, I was actually thinking taking it in
champagne.
that Indiana Jones direction, but just for the sense of trying to disarm traps. Like
traps in a party.
Yeah, well, maybe it's like a
You know, your drunken friend who won't stop talking to you. The guy's a little too drunk and just can't walk and doesn't even know you're there.
That's it. So you
All
have
the
to like
obstacles.
you have to like create a system to drop some marbles on the ground so he falls over and
Yeah.
passes out finally. No, I don't know. I was thinking maybe it's the party of a Doc Brown or Rick-esque mad scientist, and just got all this stuff around his house that to keep you out of the fridge to get a beer or the snack containers.
Yeah, I'm picturing like a group of girls just having a bit of a chat, and right behind them is like one of those hidden tiger pits with like spikes in it.
You just have to like make sure they don't fall in or not fall in yourself.
Every time someone gets up to go to the bathroom, just an axe swings across the hallway.
So like, you got the penitent man.
I just love that all these people in this place is just so oblivious to all the traps.
They're all oblivious to
They're
it.
partying.
If you happen to take the champagne bottle, then the massive boulder drops down, and you got to run through the whole way.
And again, no one's noticing. They just all sort of amazingly dance out of the way at the right time.
Yep. You see a conga line sort of going along. They just get out of the way just in time.
Not sure where the gameplay is in this exactly, but it's a fun idea.
Yeah.
Well, I think, it could be sort of almost Sam Fisher-esque stealthing through the party.
Okay.
Trying to be unnoticed.
Maybe less Sam Fisher, more Hitman, and you've got to disguise yourself as cliques at the party. Different hats. These are the rich people. These are the hipsters. So you got to put on a stupid mustache or something. You gotta
Man bun.
Find out where that.
talk about kale or something. I don't know.
How long do you massage your kale for?
You got to quickly grow a neck beard.
Steal someone's flannel.
Yeah. Now we're just ragging on hipsters for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I was wondering.
I was ragging on hipsters before they were cool.
So what I'm wondering is, are you actually a guest at this party, or are you infiltrating it? Like, again, I guess this is sort of the difference between Hitman, where you're sort of socially infiltrating, versus Sam Fisher, where you're literally sneaking and hiding and don't want to be spotted. Because I do kind of like the idea of climbing through rafters and swinging off banisters as Sam Fisher to not be seen as you dodge all these traps that somehow nobody else is paying attention to. I guess
Very
they just
Assassin's Creed on the outside of the house.
Sam Fisher has chosen the one night where there's a big party to sneak into the house.
Well, it's the only night that the champagne's going to be there.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's like Tomb Raider, but there's a rave on.
Yeah.
They've just come into the tomb.
It's easy, but Tomb Raver.
Perfect. That's it. I think that's it. They can't get better than that. Let's
And that could very well be the name of the episode.
It may well be.
And 3 to 1 click. Silence.
I assume that's your word, and you're not just being incredibly
that's my
rude, Trevor.
It's my word.
Yes.
It's your word?
My word is fishing.
Can I screw with the system here? I've chosen an obscure adverb.
Oh no!
All right. Yes. Let's see where we go. So we've got silence, we've got fishing, and
Unsociologically.
All right. Look up the definition, please.
Yeah.
Unsociologically.
Unsociologically.
What
I
would
guess
you
just
say?
to
Do I have
not
to
be
do-
sociologically, which
So not the study?
of sociology.
Or I guess it would be maybe behaving?
That's a
Well,
tough.
this is how you wreck a bloody podcast.
Come on, so close.
Believe me, we tried it very early on. Obscure never works.
So,
That's all right.
apparently, according to all the online dictionaries, it isn't even a word.
Yeah, that's what
We've
we
had
usually
that
found.
Come
before.
on, let's get another word.
All right, jeez. You try and mix things up. It's I'll try an obscure adjective. Oh, non-purifying.
All right, I think we can work with that.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Silence fishing, non-purifying.
Oh.
So I mean, fishing kind of is a typical mini game kind of thing in a game. So I feel like, or just there are lots of good fishing games. How can we kind of mix that up a bit, or just take it in a completely different direction? I guess
You don't have to fish for fish.
that's true.
Ooh.
Maybe you're fishing to like purify the river.
My brain instantly went to like non-purifying and silence to like demons.
Oh,
And I was
Oh,
like,
Yeah.
not it's a sort of non-purifying thing. You need something from them.
you have to like
the evil.
you have to like bless your bait to be.
Yeah.
And you lure demons. So that's their fishing. You're luring some sort of demon.
Oh, I was still going for literal fishing, but they're like
Oh, yeah,
demon
no,
fish.
Maybe there's demon fish.
Yeah.
So where my mind has now gone, because you said demons, I see this as like God and the devil having a competition to see how many fish they can catch, and fish being like actual souls on Earth. And it's all about, what sort of bait they can throw down. So the sort of bait that I'm sort of seeing is for the devil, they can have like sex, violence, and
Money.
So we're turning into a very metaphorical fishing. Do we still have typical fishing gameplay?
Yeah, I'm thinking typical fishing gameplay, but the sort of bait that you're putting on the end of the hook is like porno mags and.
A weird fun fact, the Screwtape letters that our company's name is based on is all about a demon talking about how he catches human souls.
Oh,
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that either.
that's cool. It ties in well.
Right in our wheelhouse.
So I'm thinking
I almost
that
had this idea of like it's like a multiplayer black
Yeah.
and white. So you are the god or the demon.
yes.
And then
So
you're trying to
I like
get
the idea of it being
Many
a
humans as
2-player
possible
game.
for for either of you.
Yep.
So, yeah. But that,
I'm running through ideas in my brain of how the gameplay could work, because I'm almost thinking of an interesting, very minimalistic sort of thing where you've literally got one person on top of the screen and one person on the bottom, and they're sort of both fishing inward to Earth.
ooh.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So my question is, is this in VR? And the person that's the devil, literally, when they look down, they see everything sort of upside down, and when the God person looks down, they see everyone sort of up the right way.
Oh, that's
I reckon you could definitely pitch that.
yeah. So
That'd be
yes,
really interesting in VR.
so it just feels like you've got a whole like the underside of the world beneath you as the devil. That's cool.
Yeah, so the devil is actually in an upside down sort of
I'm just
world.
trying to figure
So
how
when he fishes, he's still fishing down, but you're seeing the feet of people,
Walking
below you.
I like
And
the
then-
idea of it sort of still being a river of sorts, so you're kind of seeing it all distorted by the waters of this river.
Yeah. Kind of like if you're God, you're in a like a peaceful, serene, heaven-esque and when you're in like the hellscape, you're literally fishing into a river of fire.
yeah.
Totally.
It would be vomit, wouldn't it? If you're in home.
Oh, God.
There are many bodily fluids it could be.
It is hell.
You just don't want to know what those floaters are.
God. Thanks for that visual, Trevor.
So, one of the things that I'd like to be able to see then is like a massive scoreboard showing, how many God is actually captured, how many the devil is captured.
Mm-hmm.
I think the idea that they can go for the same people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, they're a big fish, right?
Yep.
And so maybe it's... Well, because it'd be interesting to bring in the idea of, the fish already have an affinity in one direction or another, so it's going to be harder for the devil to catch someone who's
priest.
very pious. Yeah.
But the reward's bigger.
Exactly, yeah. And so you can choose the bait, you can choose your, fishing location, you can choose your sort of your techniques and your lure to try to catch that big priest fish or whatever.
I just realized the priest is probably not the best because my mind just went into a really bad place as to what the bait would be for a priest.
Oh God, don't know. Yeah.
I think we all know the deal.
And that's why I didn't mention it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe a Catholic schoolgirl or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know who's the most innocent and godly out there.
Babies.
I think we're getting very much into philosophical religious debate there, which is we occasionally dip into that on this podcast, but maybe not. No, I like that idea a lot. I could see the VR working. That's cool. That's our first VR game this week. You'll find, guys, that we tend to go towards VR a lot. We like it. There's just so much you can do. There's so much untapped potential there still.
That's what interests me about it, what's going to come out of it. Just seeing what everyone else is playing with and trying. It's kind of an exciting space.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Let's click again and see if we can make a VR game. All right. 3, 2, 1, click.
Punctuation.
Vault.
Gawky.
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 Okay.
How do you spell that?
Like GAWKY.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like nerdy, lanky, gawky.
He's a gawky looking dude.
Yeah.
Nervous, awkward, ungainly. Yep.
Yeah.
Your typical gawk.
Yeah, a gawk, Trevor.
Come on. Synonyms, apparently. Ungainly, inelegant, graceless, ungraceful, gauche.
Perfect. And okay, so all right, well, this wasn't the first place my mind went for vault, but it could be something to do with pole vaulting or the gymnastic competition with someone who is very ungainly and gawky.
So is it vault VAULT or VOLT?
VAULT.
Okay.
I'm seeing this as sort of like a narrative game, sort of like maybe an adventure game, where you've got a nervous, ungainly teenager who's at a gymnastics meet, and he's a grammar Nazi. Hence the punctuation. And so one of his sort of nervous tics is to correct people's grammar as he's talking to them. And
so is that just something that comes out in the dialogue trees?
Yeah. So if you see that someone used a double negative or something like that, you can bring that up.
I'm amused that you could call them out for using the wrong "your," even though they're meant to be actually talking to each other. But of course, you get the text, so you know that they used the wrong one.
And they could be sort of self-referential humor in that they understand that this is a bit silly.
Break the fourth wall a little in the classic point and click adventure style. Okay. We could follow that path. So is this kid a gymnast himself, and he's just not very good at it?
I feel like it has to be going down. He's got to be solving a mystery, and so you can get if he's correcting everyone. He's not going to get the right information out of them.
Oh, so yeah, you have to go against your instincts. 'Cause
Yeah.
If you just correct everyone, you just piss them off and they don't want to talk to you anymore.
My first thought of the point of the game was to not get beaten up.
all the gymnast jocks, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. It's sort of a bit of a amateur detective trying to figure out who stole the money from the bake sale that funded
The vault?
the vault. There you go. We get two meanings out of vault.
You just throw all the vaults in there.
So maybe you don't even have to be at a gymnastics meet. It could literally be like the vault at the bank, and like this Encyclopedia Brown type character is trying to work out the mystery.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of it being a bit more mundane, because particularly with him taking it like super seriously and thinking he's this great detective. A little bit of Angus from the Adventure Zone.
Yes. So the sort of graphical style, I'm just wondering whether it would be good to actually see this in a full 3D environment, a la sort of maybe a Gabriel Knight 3.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking a bit of a Life is Strange kind of thing.
Oh, yep, All Life is Strange. Just because I don't think there's enough adventure games that are done in an actual 3D environment.
Yeah. And because you're in sort of it's all in one building, so you have to have it 3D. You could really go full 3D and make it really nice because it's not huge as well.
Yeah, and then you really get a sense of the space as well, and some of the puzzles or some of the mysteries you have to solve might even be around the relative positions of different rooms and spaces and things, or figuring out how the gym equipment was set up on a certain day or something. You find scuff marks on the ground. If
it is a limited space, I like the idea of expanding it by repeating time. Maybe it's some sort of Groundhog Day scenario. And there's lots of stuff going on in this gymnasium area, and you've got to explore the different interactions that happen over the same day. Keep going back in.
Maybe by talking to the different people, you kind of get flashbacks to different places and time. Well, different places in the building at different times.
And
but you sort of
mundane, mundane crimes sort of things. So you're not just solving one, but you're solving little mysteries along the way while adding to the overarching mystery.
Yeah, I think so. And that'd be all part of the character development of the different characters you run into and stuff, sort of solving their little problems to solve the overarching mystery.
Yeah, it helps with a nice bugbear I have with conversation trees. If you're going back and you can have the same conversation with a person, and it doesn't matter that it's repetitive. If for the character that you're talking to, for them it's the first time you've had the conversation.
Yeah. So maybe you can go back into these flashbacks multiple times to find different sets of clues or different.
Make sure that their Oxford comma in the right place.
Exactly.
I love the Oxford comma.
No, what is it? No dangling participles.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means. That's a grammar thing that I know.
So that's the to boldly go, isn't it? No, that's the split infinitive. Sorry, I'm so embarrassed.
You should be. Welcome to Grammar Storm.
You should have used an interrobang there. That's punctuation, isn't it?
How do you know I didn't?
Yeah.
Let's
That's
click
awesome.
again.
Let's click again.
Gilded.
Vapor.
Rendition.
Oh.
So sorry, yours was gilded, like Gilded?
Yeah, like one would do with gold to something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But also like an expression of someone who's like a person who's untouchable or powerful can be gilded.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Wealthy and privileged, I see here as a
Like a person covered in gold.
Vapor.
vapor. And what was yours, Trevor?
Rendition.
Rendition. All right. Maybe you're someone who grew up with money and you really want to break into the pop music scene with your rendition of classic Christmas songs. But you can't stop vaping. And it's not good for your image. Or maybe you play the manager of this character. That's the challenge.
The funny thing is, anytime I hear the word gilded, I just think of that scene from Game of Thrones where, like,
oh god, yeah, the molten gold. Yes, okay,
yeah, the molten gold. So I sort of think that, you know, what if you played a character that has that happen to them very early on? They die and they turn into a ghost that is effectively like a vapor.
All right. But they're still golden. They're a golden ghost.
And then the idea is that they're sort of trying to help their brother or sister in doing a rendition of like
okay,
a play or something like that. So you sort of
not haunting people with Christmas songs.
no.
Can you imagine how terrifying it would be if you were just sitting there on your own and just a faint whisper in your ear? It was Jingle Bells. That would be terrible.
and even worse, it's April. Like, come on, you can't start that early, ghost.
Oh god, that'd just be nightmarish. Or that's the only way that you can interact with the world is
Singing Christmas carols. You have to choose the right ones for the situation.
Yeah, to remind them to ring the bell, you're singing Jingle Bells, and if you need them to be quiet, you're going Silent Night.
If you need to punch someone, you're singing Deck the Halls. I kind of like the idea of, and this is just taking some aspects of what you said, of a ghost haunting a theatre who is affecting the outcome of the play in some way, either positively or negatively. I'm not sure, but there's a real sort of Phantom of the Opera, but actual Phantom.
I was thinking you could, the power in the game that you've got to sort of use or weigh up would be being able to turn into smoke or vapor to do something. But I was thinking the rendition, rather than it being something you wanted to do, is what you had to do to turn. It's a...
Oh. So you have to, say a particular phrase or sing a song to turn into smoke.
Yeah, or a little whistle or something.
I like the visual of that, of sort of as they play this kind of haunting, whistle or humming or something, they sort of slowly just evaporate, and then you're controlling the smoke.
And then the further the game goes on, you learn different songs, and they have different effects.
Oh yeah,
some sort of telekinesis, or you can.
You get a thicker smoke. You can start picking things up.
Yeah,
right.
Or you can split and be multiple smokes.
Or you can be a poison smoke and just knock people out. I actually like that idea as a kind of adventure, like an action adventure sort of thing of.
Yeah, I have no idea what you'd be trying to do. But I really like the idea of being able to turn into smoke.
Games don't need objectives.
No, I think that could be an interesting sort of metroidvania kind of thing as you pick up the different skills, the different types of smoke.
Oh, yeah.
So it's you can't get through here because you need to be able to, get on the other side and unlock the door, but your vapor is too vaporous to be able to turn the key.
It'll get sucked up instantly by the extraction fan.
Yeah, exactly. You need to get past a guard. But you can't do that until you get the chloroform gas. part of yourself.
The tap on the shoulder, making it turn around. Yes.
Yeah. And then it's just that scene from The Simpsons with the what was it, the flu cloud coming towards.
That turns people inside out.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it was? It was that, wasn't it? Yeah. No, I quite from a gameplay point of view, I like that idea of the different types of smokes. But yeah, cool. All right,
I like that a lot. 3, 2, 1, click. Frame.
Sparkle.
Pondering.
So it's a game where you've committed a crime.
And you're trying to frame someone else.
Trying to frame someone else. But you do it with crafting.
But everything you do is within your mind. So you're just running through different scenarios in your mind on how to frame someone. And it's basically, so you're pondering, working out, like, you do it one way and see, okay, if I framed, say, this random dude, and then you work through the steps on how.
the idea of like a puzzle game where each level is a different crime you're trying to commit, and you have to do it in a certain way that someone else will be blamed for it.
Ooh.
And the reason why you can go back and think about different ways of doing it is because it's all just running through in your mind.
It's all just in your head. So you can play the level again, and to get 3 stars, it's like no one even knew you were there. But to get less stars, they can see you, but as long as there's enough evidence for the other person to be convicted. So you have to do things like steal some of their hair and leave it on a hairbrush at the murder victim's house. I don't know why I went straight to murder, but
see, I was thinking, you're stealing a gem or something like that, and you've just gone, nah, we're killing the bastard.
Kill him all. But I can sort of picture that as just, again, did you almost like what's that game? Yeah, I'm picturing sort of a retro pixel art style, almost sort of isometric view where you can sort of see your whole, wherever you're stealing from, their whole house at once or whatever, and so you can kind of see the different things that are happening around the place and use that to your advantage to sort of figure out, oh, okay, like at this time, this is probably going to happen, or like if I do this, you can see the cause and effect, and sort of use that to figure out your best path through the level.
Maybe you can hear people, conversing, and they drop clues, I'm a really big fan of the bowling ball, and say, oh, I'm going to put the bowling ball next to the crime scene, or
or you kill them with the bowling ball. Well, that's it. I like the idea of you, for each level, you kind of have to set up the motive and the opportunity and whatever the other thing is that they look for in a murder.
and what's the shimmering? Sparkling?
Oh, sparkle. Also, you're a Twilight vampire. Maybe one of the levels you're trying to frame someone who works at like a craft store with glitter.
You have to electrocute people.
Oh yeah, there you go. That too. Yeah. The electrician did it. Wait, that wouldn't make sense because you think they'd know better.
They've gotten arrogant. They've been doing the job for 20 years. They don't like it anymore.
So the graphical art style, I'm sort of seeing it as, you were saying isometric before. Remember the game Little Big Adventure?
Oh, geez, that's a throwback. Yes.
Throwback to the 90s, but I like that sort of far away enough.
As long as it doesn't control like Little Big Adventure.
Don't like those tank controls.
Oh, yeah, they're just so unresponsive. Anyway.
Then they haven't played it.
1994.
I think it was called Relentless. So I don't know, back in the 90s, I remember playing it playing it a lot. One of my favorite lines in it was, "Where do you want to go?" To City Island.
Classic. Just.
I remember everyone walking around in their "Where do you want to go?" t-shirts.
Yeah, exactly. At the time,
It was a thing
It's the
that
way they
happened
said it.
with
I'm sure.
with quite a few of our friends. One of our friends in particular really liked that. And I always remember
It was for the
hearing
time because it was one of the very early kind of 3D-ish games. It was. I remember it being very popular. But yes, anyway, you just mean the sort of that perspective.
that perspective, that
Yeah.
even the
it's even just
polygon art style, like
Oh yeah, I could
did
see
like
a
that.
kind of retro, flat shaded polygon style kind of thing.
yep.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, 3, 2, 1, and a click. Ooh, venison.
Statistic.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Maniac. Now, the maniac or a venison maniac?
I could see this crazy deer.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like it's one of these,
The
you know,
main character is the deer.
the deer fights back kind of thing.
Yeah.
They take the weapons from a hunter and they just have to kill as many people as possible.
Yeah, Deer Hunter 2, The Reckoning.
maybe
Yeah.
it's just a really crazy deer accountant.
Just
Loves
bankrupting people left and
statistics.
right.
He's a
Oh,
maniac.
no, not
for
an
it.
accountant, a census taker. So this deer is
Statistics,
crazy,
yeah.
but he's going around the neighborhood getting census data, asking people personal questions. Looking at people really weirdly when they, say that they're not vegan.
Just totally judging them, like looking over their shoulder. What do you mean you don't put Jedi as a religion.
Yeah.
Put whatever the deer god is. I'm sure there is one.
I do like both versions of the game. That you start off as a census taker, and then when you notice that every single person is basically saying that they like eating meat and all this sort of stuff, you decide to try meat for yourself, but you try it like in the house that you're in. You just kill and eat them.
You become the maniac because everyone eats meat.
It's like, geez, well, it's got to be good, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to eat my
Just take a
people,
bite out of their arm.
Yeah.
this is good.
When it really becomes revenge of the deer.
Yeah, you're still just going door to door, and now it's about how you sort of get yourself into their house and.
Yeah.
Now I've just got the question whether deers are like vampires and you got to actually invite them.
No, it's more about the like width of the door and your antlers and sort of how you navigate that. Maybe you find out that by eating humans your antlers grow. Just to like add a bit of challenge.
Next door
I don't know,
partner.
you can't go too down the antler route because at the start of the game you're going to want like a gender select, and the does aren't going to have antlers, right?
That's true. Maybe their tails grow. I don't know.
Yeah. Their ears get an eyelash.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they just get taller. Just their legs grow. How am I going to get out of this house now? I ate 3 humans, and now I'm 7 feet tall.
Jeez.
This game's weird.
Yeah.
I'd still play
Very
it.
much so.
This game's weird.
This is the weird one that we came up with. All right, well, I think maybe we'll go on to our final segment. So, Anthony and Meg, when we have devs on, what we like to do is take the name of the project you're currently working on, so in your case, Damsel, throw away everything that we know about that game, and just use the name to come up, like just use the name as the prompt of a completely different video game. So, forget cool side-scrolling action-adventure vampire hunter, and just take Damsel. What else can we come up with for that title? Trevor, do you have anything? Because I did not think of this beforehand.
I didn't think about it either. So, was your idea for Damsel always what you came up with? I suppose is the question.
That's a good question.
It's a variation on what we came up with. It was originally going to be a metroidvania sort of set in one location, and the whole one of the reasons that she was called Damsel was that she what's the appropriate word? She would lure vampires.
Okay.
With her damselness.
Yep.
And that's how she got the vampires. So there was originally ideas around mechanics surrounding that. What's the word? Like a honeypot, but not at all.
Just being the like helpless damsel in distress. Obviously, the classic trope, and luring them.
I guess we were trying to flip it completely. Whereas
Definitely, yeah.
We realized we didn't really necessarily need to flip it completely.
Yeah.
In that sense, yeah.
It's enough that she's just a badass called Damsel that you get the point. Yeah. Well, that is the challenge of coming up with a new game called Damsel that has nothing to do with your Damsel, because you don't want to fall into that trope, definitely, of them actually being a typical damsel.
And everything that has run through my head has been like the worst, like anti-feminist, anti-anything. I'm like, maybe she could be in a castle. She's getting saved.
So where my mind is actually going is that it's a whole heap of sort of vignettes, sort of showing the typical sort of fairy tale damsel, but. Say the first one is Rapunzel, but she gets out of the tower herself, and it's all about how you get out of this situation yourself.
It's real, like empowering these traditional damsels to save themselves.
Yes,
that's cool.
I really like that.
Yeah,
it's like a puzzle game in which you start off with. Rapunzel stuck in a tower. You got long hair, and it's like, okay, how can I fashion a way of getting out of this?
I love that the lose state is getting saved.
Yeah,
like
that is losing the level. It's like, oh fuck, the prince got here.
Having like a Snow White and the seven dwarves, but she never gets to the seven dwarves because she just kills a rabbit, takes the heart of like turns it into a bow, hunts the evil witch, shoots the arrow out of her hand, shoots the apple out of her hand. Yeah, I like the idea that she rips the heart out of the huntsman, sort of like a la Kano from Mortal Kombat.
Oh, God.
Jeez, not so Snow White anymore.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I like that. That's good. I think we could come up with some good ways there to really, give them the ability to save themselves.
And those stories have always got such messed up other characters and little side characters as well.
I know.
Yeah, you could have some fun with the fairy tale stories.
And hey, they're public domain, so we can do whatever the hell we want with them.
Yeah.
At the risk of derailing, I reckon it should go in a completely different direction. I want to see some sort of
do it.
I want to see some sort of management sim.
Okay.
but like a hardcore business management sim, and it's just a chick in charge. And it's got nothing to do with saving herself. It's got nothing to do with any of that sort of stuff.
It's Damsel Incorporated.
It's just just Damsel isn't even the person. Damsel is a code name for something else. Because it doesn't because that's not the important part. The important part is unrelated. That's where I'd like to see it go.
Yeah, nice. Like the gameplay is more important.
Yeah, and make this management sim for Damsel Incorporated. I like that. It's a cool, trendy,
tech
clothing
company or
clothing line or something like that.
Yeah, tech clothing. There you go. It's like wearables.
You got to build this business empire up from nothing. I think that.
I like the idea of like you start as this teenage girl, like building stuff in a garage, cool tech, selling that, and then kind of making deals and building it up into this huge company.
It sort of becomes almost like a female version of the story behind Apple. That she's building PCs and wearable tech and that sort of stuff in her garage, and how it's an awesome story about.
Show it how it's done when you don't have all the privilege in the world. I like that a lot. That's really cool. All right, well, I think maybe we'll end it there tonight.
Oh,
thank you so much for joining us, guys. That was a lot of fun.
No worries, thank you.
I hope you guys had a good time.
Oh, definitely.
Before we do our stuff, do you want to tell our listeners where they can find you and your game on the internet?
Yes, you can find Damsel at a little website called Steam.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Steam, what is it? Steam powered, whatever.
Yeah.
You've got Steam on your computer.
Search
for Damsel. It's currently in early access on PC, with Mac and Linux versions to follow soon.
Yes.
And then probably consoles towards the end of the year.
Cool.
Fantastic.
And if you want a game, our website's just damselgame.net, and our Twitter is at damselgame. They're probably the best places. Or there's also Damsel on Facebook as well.
Cool. All right. Well, everyone check out Damsel. Like I said earlier, we saw it at PAX. It was a lot of fun. My favorite bit is just the way that the score when you kill someone, like they fall to the ground as physics. That just gets me every time. I love it.
We'll let you know, somebody tried to get us to take that out.
What?
And they were somebody that I greatly respect. They've been an art director for years, and we talked about it and we refused to, because so many people love that part of the game. So it's never going to go.
It's such a nice little touch. All right, so if you want to find us on the internet, we are Bitstormcast on Facebook, Instagram, and the other thing, Twitter. So you can tell I did not bring up my document with the things I need to say. We have a website, bitstormcast.com. No, you usually do that one, don't you, Trevor?
Yeah, I usually do that.
We have a Facebook group, facebook.com/group/bitstorm. And most importantly, because it's the website that I made, you can find us on Podchaser at podchaser.com/bitstorm. Give us a rating or a review there, or add us to a list, or, do other cool things.
While you're thinking about ratings, you can check us out on iTunes, where you can give us a rating and review there. As Ben said before, we do have a website, bitstormcast.com.
I'm going to fix it, I promise. I'm going to fix it.
We'd like to plug our friends at the AGPN, the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network. Search for hashtag AGPN on Twitter, or the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network on Facebook. Finally, we'd like to thank us from Kuradust, the band that you heard at the very start, with the song Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure.
That's it. So thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
I'm Anthony Wood.
And I'm Megan Summers.
And rave some teams.